Oh, that's on the wrong side. Good morning, everybody. My name is... Oh, sir, it is Saturday, 27th of April. End of April already. And we are playing Farming Simulator 22 on Glenleathann. And I'll apologise, I'm a little late start this morning. I'm hobbling around like a cripple at the moment. And sadly also, there was a patch this week. So we're going to need to take the time to admire the view as all of the textures and what have you load. So we'll spend a little bit of time around the farm, then I'll jump out to the Axion and get that started with the Cultivation Contracts we were doing last week. So literally nothing's happened since last episode, but as I said, yes, there was a patch this week, so yeah, it's going to be a little bit jerky starting off this morning. Once we go in, it should be fine. I should have done this the other day, but kind of busy this week. Normally I'll get things set up on Friday evening, but we had to go to Sam's to buy some stuff. I was in the middle of fishing my tea bag out of my cup, so we'll do that. There we go. Off to one side. So we're full of silage additive, that's a good thing. That tea is super hot, so we'll let that run for a bit. And I think that's all I've got to do. So yes, as I said, we'll get this at least started. And then I'll go get the Axion doing its thing. So we're up to £54,000 and change, lots of change. That should see us through at least May. And we have a fair amount of stuff to do this month. But the main thing is we need to turn 3 of our fields into maize. And we have just over 3 days to do it. Obviously it's 3:15 game time, so we have a little bit more time at the end of the day, till the end of the day. Also, I think May is decidedly wet, so we're going to have a lot of rain this month. But this is really poor yield. I think November I could barely make 2 rows before the truck was filled, and I've pretty much got enough room for done 3/5, probably at least 1 more, if not 2. So in spite of all the grass fields we've got, this is not going to be a high yield result. What I might do, let's see if we can swoop through the corner and then get that north-south line there. So we have loud kids today. Teenage Os is off to a thing this evening with some friends. So the rest of us are all going out for nice pizza. Like a proper pizza shop rather than a Pizza Hut, Cottage Inn, Little John's, whatever it is, Papa John's, Little Caesars. So, alrighty. I guess we'll do another row. Cameo, good morning. Week was reasonably okay. Pain in my hip is getting significantly worse as time goes by, and we have still another 2.5 weeks before I get my back seen to. Maybe the back will fix the problem, maybe it won't. But I'm hobbling. It doesn't help. We went to Sam's Club yesterday. We needed to. And some woman reversed her electric chair into my hip, and it's not feeling the greatest this morning. And we are full. Let's take this back to the yard. But yeah, unfortunately today's stream is mostly going to be grass collecting and workers doing stuff that needs to get done. But May is a very busy month for us. So last weekend I actually got the big planter built. And that's now a 18 square foot plot of potatoes, which we planted, I believe, on Thursday. Again, lots of things happening this week. Just haven't had much gaming time. I still haven't fixed the yard here yet. So yeah, the onions are coming up, which is good. The carrots don't look the greatest, although I did see a thing this week that suggested planting carrots and onions together, not the bestest idea.
Hi!
Oh, hi.
Do you think I screamed out everyone's ears?
Yes. So yeah, vegetable garden's coming on. We planted a few more peas. Our first batch of peas is doing quite well. And suggestions say you can plant peas from about 2 weeks ago through to middle of May. So that's basically the plan. There we go. Okay, you need to do some work. So that's interesting. Okay. Generate field work. Bang. Back. Cancel. Back. And where do you need to start? Over there. So, yes, what was I saying? Things and stuff. We're getting there with the veg. Fruit and veg. No, just veg. I suppose tomatoes are fruit, so we've got an egg carton, about 18 pockets of other things. I think there's tomatoes, peppers and hot peppers. So they're all doing nicely indoors. Turn that one off, and you are good to go. You are good to go.
I don't know where it was.
So we'll see how things turn out this week or this year. I don't know what to expect of the potatoes. Although it does seem that in general potatoes can be quite an easy crop to grow. And as we know from Farming Simulator, it's an awesome yield. Can't think of much else I've been watching this week. I did watch first season of Discovery, Star Trek Discovery. I would say it's okay. It's just not quite there, I think. And that's part of the problem, I think, with Hollywood these days, is that they're going off on we make this stuff and you're supposed to like it. And I watched a treatise by one guy who was basically saying that when it comes to entertainment is a shared experience. So, 1950s, 1960s, J.R.R. Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings. And people like Lord of the Rings because they can connect to the universe. And all the laws of that universe either follow ours, gravity, daytime, nighttime, growth cycles, whatever, but also the unusual orcs, elves, dwarves, whatever. We accept that is that within that setting. You would not accept somebody doing a modern day crime drama in contemporary Earth with orcs and elves. That doesn't work because orcs and elves don't live here. Now, while we accept that there's no such thing as orcs and elves within an entertainment thing like Lord of the Rings, we can accept, okay, that's a thing. Dragons are a thing. But if you rode up to Elrond's house and there's a BMW 5 Series parked outside, that blows your belief in the situation, because a BMW 5 Series has no reason for being outside Elrond's house, because they don't exist in that world according to the sort of the law. So we have the law, LORE, which defines what is and isn't applicable for the universe that we are exploring. So you go to Star Wars and there's hyperspace and there's blasters and there's lightsabers. And we all know none of those things exist in the real world. They're all make-believe, but you suspend realism to a certain extent. It's most people can't extend realism, can't accept completely out of this world stuff unless you have magic. But And the problem with today's Hollywood is they're going, okay, you all liked this experience, so we're going to hijack it for our own purposes, rather than we're going to expand the storytelling within this what would you call it? Within this universe, for want of a better word. And so because of that, when they come along and say, hey, we've got new stories and to heck with everything that's gone before, people just say, no, this world has a history. It would be like if you said there was no such thing as parallel universes, but I'm going to do something in contemporary Earth, but I'm going to ignore the fact that the Roman Empire ever existed. And it's sort of, everybody knows that the Roman Empire did exist, and what they did affects what's going on today. But we're just going to throw out history and we're just going to start over in 2023, 24. And that's, people then just say, well, no. You've got to be an alternate timeline. So either you're an alternate timeline Earth and imagine what if, or you're a parallel universe Earth, which means that our Earth is out there somewhere, but we're exploring different permutations. But they don't go that far. They're not creating a new world. They're using an existing world and ignoring everything that has been established about that existing world. So I think that's what got me about Star Trek Discovery is, as far as Star Trek is concerned, we have phasers, we have disruptors, we have photon torpedoes, we have warp drive. And then we have this other thing that, hey, we've just invented something brand new that's never existed before. And all of the timeline, more recent shows in Star Trek have never referred to. So where did it come from? How do you justify it? And I don't think they went far enough to justify the technology that they added that we've never seen before. And I think most people who are sci-fi fans would say, we don't mind you inventing this new stuff. Stick it in a create your own universe. But they don't have the impetus or maybe the imagination to create their own universe. They're going to steal somebody else's and completely change it. And the fans just look at it and say, what you're doing here isn't why we like Star Trek. You're just going off the deep end on a different story. We don't mind a different story, but we prefer you don't adulterate an established story for want of your thing. And then Hollywood just turns around and says, well, the reason people don't like it is because stupid reasons. Not because we wrote a bad thing. The reason you don't like it is because you're all the ists and all the phobes. And it's like, no, that's not the case. It's, you're doing a thing that we don't appreciate with something that we like. Yeah. It's kind of like some of the more recent movies where actors come out and say, oh, this movie isn't designed for men. So the men look at it and say, okay, thanks for the warning. I'm done. But then the Hollywood studio turns around and says, oh, the reason this movie didn't take lots of money is because men didn't go to see it. Well, you told us it wasn't meant for us. So, yeah. You can't have it both ways. Either you're making a show for everybody or you're not. And if you tell people this isn't for you, then they're not going to bother with it. Hi.
Hi.
What you doing?
I want to say hi to the people.
Okay. Don't break their eardrums.
I'll try not to. Hi! Was that good?
I guess.
Okay. What are you talking about?
I was talking about a series of Star Trek I watched this week. And it's like, as a science fiction show, it was an okay science fiction show. As Star Trek, it wasn't really Star Trek.
That sounds boring.
Okay. You're going to wake Mummy up.
Yes.
I see. I was kind of like, what was the other show I watched? Probably about a year ago. I took advantage of the Apple TV watch it for a week deal, and for free. So I did, and I watched a couple of movies, and I also watched the series Foundation. Now, it's been absolutely ages since I read the books. I mean, so much so, I think I read the first book and thought, oh, this is good. I started on the second book and got really bogged down. And I kept trying to read it and eventually lost it. So I had to go and buy another copy of it. And I bought a trilogy which had, if you put the 3 books side by side, made a picture, and I lost the second book. So I ended up with a broken picture between the 3 of them. But I did eventually read the second book, and then I read the third book. That was easy. That was much easier going than the second book. And I think it was because the first book was establishing a situation. The empire's collapsing. A psychohistorian, which is basically a scientist who predicts what population masses will do given certain stimuli. And you don't even have to suspend your belief for that. You can see in the modern world that when a thing happens, generally a population will react a certain way, and generally any population will act in the same way. So it doesn't matter if it's an English population or a French population. There'll be some small variation in sort of the national personality, but in general, if you apply stimulus X, you can reasonably predict result Y. The population will react this way. And so I think I've got all the grass from that field. Oh no, I haven't. So yeah, it's that was the premise of the story. And so this psychohistorian goes to the emperor and basically persuades him, I think the empire's collapsing. The emperor thinks, you're stupid. So he says, well, just on the off chance I'm right, how's about you let me and my team go somewhere really obscure and create a library of human knowledge? Because if we do this, the empire will collapse. There will be a period of dark ages, and humanity will slowly climb out of the Dark Ages, kind of like historically, the early 400s, 600s, we had the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire collapsed. Most of the conquered nations of the Roman Empire went into a period called the Dark Ages and slowly rebuilt their technology and worked their way back to where they had been, and we now surpass what the Roman Empire was. But it took time. So this is basically the premise of the whole story. The Emperor gives this guy, Harry Seldon, permission to set up his encyclopedia and sticks them on a planet right on the rim, middle of nowhere. And Harry's old, he's in his final years, but he creates a series of videos locked in a vault that the people, basically they're called the Foundation, will view every it's a schedule. So it's like, okay, in 20 years time, come and watch my year 20 video. In 50 years time, come and watch my year 50 video. And throughout the first book, all of his predictions are near enough spot on. This will happen, and at one point it's like the Empire, the dying embers of the Empire will reach out and try and destroy the Foundation. And they do, and they win. The Foundation wins against the Empire, or at least prevents the Empire from destroying them. They don't cause the downfall of the Empire. They just fight off the attack from the Empire, and then they go and watch the video, and Harry basically tells them, yes, the dying throes of the Empire, they will attack you. You will be you will prevent this from happening, blah blah blah. And so they're showing that his predictions are spot on. Second book, Foundation and Empire, a mutant takes control of the Empire and actually, through strength of will, holds the Empire together beyond its slow decay into obscurity. And so there's a confrontation with this mutant, and next Harry Seldon videos up for view, and so they go in and Harry has got it completely wrong. And it basically takes the entire second book for them to realise the problem was that psychohistory deals with population masses, and a mutant is not a population mass. It's a single entity with a strength of will to change the outcome of a thing. But as I said, it took me 4 or 5 attempts to actually get through that book. And then you go into Second Foundation, and we're back pretty much on track as to how Harry's predictions and the rebuilding of the Empire